Hi, Aaron. You can hear us? This looks like the perfect backdrop for a bicycle pedestrian committee member.
I debated putting a blurred background, but figured since the bikes were there.
All right, welcome everybody. Chief just stepped out for a minute to get some data from the white boxes, so he's gonna come back and give us an update on that momentarily. Can we take a look at the minutes from last month?
Oh, I wrote down my notes.
Did everyone have a chance to take a look at the minutes? There are a couple little things I wanted to clarify. Because I didn't have it correctly, I think. One thing I just wanted to, Carol, you did an excellent job taking very detailed minutes.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. I wanted to just come back to the question. I just needed a refresher on what we actually discussed regarding the sidewalk under the railroad abutment.
Yeah.
You in your minutes said that the goal is for 32-inch sidewalks under the bridge, as was there before.
Isn't that what
Dennis?
Dennis said, that there was a 32-inch sidewalk there before?
I didn't have that.
I'd have to go back and look. I think
But
he did reference a measurement, but I don't think he was specifically talking about a sidewalk. I think he was talking about.
Okay.
So I didn't have that written down, and then when I read your minutes, I went, oh, did I miss that?
Maybe I misheard.
I guess the other thing I would just say at a high level is. I mean, anything less than 30, not that we're gonna have 36, but anything less than 36, or we're requesting anything less than 36 that wouldn't meet ADA anyway, some of those would have.
Have you seen it? It's already paved.
I know it's, yeah,
Well, I just wanna stick to the minutes here, and then we can
Got it.
we can talk about that.
yeah, but
I can just take that
you
out.
may just not wanna specify any numbers, whatever.
Yeah, not put any sort of specific
Yeah.
number.
Do we wanna just take that out of the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recall, honestly. Jeff, that was a question that came up. Is the meeting recording available?
Yes, it's available. It's my fault. It's not on there yet. It's on this week's agenda to get him
To
posted.
get them up on the, okay, so I went on and I like. There were lots of meetings. up
Oh,
there,
yeah,
I couldn't-
yeah, I
I couldn't
know.
find it out. Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion regarding the minutes?
Almost, that we accept.
Okay, Dennis makes a motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second?
Is that, was to accept with,
As
as
adjusted,
adjusted, yeah, okay,
Dana, is that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, second,
Any discussion? All in favor of adopting the adjusted minutes from September? Woo, thank you, folks. I did want to just stick on that topic for 1 second. I reached out to to Dennis after our meeting last time regarding that specific issue. I haven't heard back from him. Have you heard back from him, or either? I'm looking at town staff people regarding that issue.
I think unfortunately due to the, and maybe this will come more when I talk, but the current thing, we're kind of stuck with what's there. Just because of the fact of how wide the bridge is, still getting 2 lanes of traffic in, and maybe have a little space for bikes and stuff, so. We're kind of stuck with what's historically been there right now.
Okay,
It was already done when you said you're gonna talk to them. They had already paved
they
that.
had, no, they had put in it was after they put in the curbing that I
Oh,
got all the freak out emails and
Oh.
messages.
Mhm. okay, so that was just the curving they did then. Yeah. All right.
It looks narrower than it was in the past. I don't know if it's narrower.
I think the curve is more pronounced.
I think that's
The
what
the curbing is different, for sure.
I think that might not even been curbing before, it might have just been pavement.
Yeah, right.
All the way over.
Sort of holding it to the road.
Okay. Updates and announcements. Aaron. Halloween event. What are you thinking regarding the trunk or treat?
Yeah, I reached out to Pam again and she said that she's at capacity with her 8 tables. So I guess we missed our chance.
Oh, okay, well, that's easy then.
I think we can fix that.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I mentioned, we've got a town table that we were gonna have like Parks and Rec, and I was gonna go be at it, this kind of thing. John Larson, the sponsor us, so if you had a couple people that wanted to come join us, I'm sure the more the merrier. But
Okay,
Aaron, did you hear that?
I did, and I was planning to attend as a patron, but I'd love to come and staff it and talk about bikes and pedestrians.
Okay.
and yeah, and sort of along those same lines, I wanted to talk about, so we had talked about, you know, getting some swag. I've reached out to Jesse and Midco's just talking about promo things, and I've been looking at like some sticker things and pricing of things. I know that there's some money in the grant to help with that kind of thing, but I don't know how we would access that or how to like go ahead and get some of these things made, as we talked about. You know, we had that paper printout from you, Brian, that your friend helped with at your school for sort of signage when we do these events, and I didn't know if it's something we could actually pull the trigger on getting some of those stuff made.
I don't think there are funds in the grant.
Oh, really?
that we can access, well, because the consultant is. You know, gonna use those funds, there may be a little bit or something, I'm not sure, but I don't feel comfortable saying that there
Okay.
is.
It's been mentioned before that there was a certain amount set aside for like outreach and education,
I think that's one of the,
but if that's what the other group is using it for. That wasn't my understanding, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think the consultant's proposal came in at very nearly the amount of money that we have available. So, but town manager Walt says that maybe he can,
we're about to start our budget process for next year, in
Okay.
December, and so if you've got, say a request,
Okay.
that $250 for whatever stickers, printouts,
Right.
get that to the chief, and then we'll work that into the budget process. I can't promise it's gonna make it to the end of the budget process, but if you don't ask,
Yeah.
I can promise you won't.
Okay,
can you do some candy for us for this specific event?
So it sounds like we're gonna be all sharing one table, which I'd already told him to get candy for, so we'll have
Okay.
candy there.
Okay. You getting all that, Aaron?
Yep, I think I have some of the handouts from last time, so I'll just plan to bring those.
Okay, and we can certainly get more signage if necessary.
okay, yeah, well, I'll connect with Aaron and I'll see,
Thank you both, I'm talking loud, thank you, Aaron.
This is trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat
It's a
at,
different,
Right.
it's a parade this year,
Oh,
instead of over at the fairgrounds, it's back to the Topsham Fair Mall. And so it's like a little parade, and then they have like some little set up, so that's how they used to do it, and now they're back to that.
all right.
What's the date of that?
If I think.
Halloween itself.
Oh, cool.
So it's gonna be
Friday.
competing with the Brunswick parade, which I know is like gonna affect a lot, I mean, just being involved in the school, with that, Williams Cone is probably gonna be not quite as busy as, but. Yeah,
Maybe we can see if they'll flip the traffic so that people can't go to Brunswick.
exactly.
That's it, yeah.
I'm saying,
Yeah, this was the breeze.
I'll call it green.
That'd be good, little Halloween.
Switch it right on out. No one would be confused,
Right, guys.
people aren't confused.
Chief, you've got a lot of paper over there, is that an update for us?
Yeah, I wanted to show everybody the different types of things. This actually can be a little bit of a data overload, but
No, this picture's only 80. No, I'm just kidding.
to show everybody what the box to do here. I have to get you training in PowerPoint. This is just show you a couple of things we can do. We can do a lot.
Thank you.
That one, crazy day, I've never had all this morning.
If I'm reading this correctly, it's doing 70. But it was only maybe one data entry.
That's your.
Aaron, we are going to look at some data on little pieces of paper. Don't know that we can easily share that with you. It's not digital.
No worries. I'll just listen.
Yeah.
Graphs for audio is always really, really good.
So we got the boxes in, and the first week after we charged them, and I also had to reach out to Central Maine Power because by law, you're not supposed to put anything on their poles, so had to work with them to get permission, put the boxes on. And so the first week, we put the boxes on Tedford Road. We get a lot of complaints on Tedford Road, and we put them on Cat Ants because we recently had some complaints on Cat Ants. So what you'll see, if I handed out the right forms, is you'll see Tedford Road on the sheets with all the numbers on them here. Shows incoming and outgoing, depending on which side of the page you're looking at. It shows certain hours, what day of the week, what hours, how many vehicles you've got. If you look down at the bottom, average speeds. It just gives you a lot of data. At the end of the day, at the end of the page, they give you 85% average speed.
I'm sorry, that's hours 0 to 1, that would be like midnight to 1
Yes.
AM.
Yep.
Okay.
Not on traffic up there.
No, on traffic.
No, so, but on Friday and Saturday nights, there's a little road, I guess, so.
What's the speed limit on that?
25. Yeah, so, so just showing you some, what this can show us for, that. There's also a chart. They can print it in different ways. Then we can also print colorful charts that all show vehicle speeds. The ones that I handed you look like Cat Ants Road, speed limit's 45. It's actually 40 up there in this area.
Where is that?
So the funny thing with Cat Ants Road is you have a sign right as you turn on to Cat Ants. Oh, where is Cat Ants itself?
Yeah.
Oh, if you go out Middlesex Road
Uh-huh.
and go past Rusty Lantern Store, go another 2 or 3 miles and it'll be on your left.
Back road to Bozeman.
Got it.
Yeah, so,
Right route.
So it's all voting people doing.
I thought you meant where the speed signs, because that was actually a show. There's one at the beginning of the road and there's one all the way on the Bodenham side. Of the
Interesting.
roads. There's only 2 signs out there. So again, it can show vehicle speeds in different manners.
So I'm sorry, Chair, I was a little confused at first, so just to look back at the incoming speeds on Tedford. So I'm looking at 1 to 2, so 1 AM to 2 AM.
Yep.
So that first column is 32, that's the average speed. It's just not the vehicle count.
Right, there's a different form. I haven't had that much time to look at it, but there's a different form for everything. So,
Okay.
that's why I'm saying you gotta be careful with the data, because there's a lot of information that they're giving you. But, if you go over to the right side, 85% of the traffic is doing anywhere between 27 and 33.
It's not insane.
It is not what they were, the neighbors, we had a meeting, what was that, a year or 2 ago, where all the Tedford Road folks showed up. They were very irritated with me for not doing enough out there. And, talking about speeds, 40s, 50s, and this shows it's not the case. These boxes, has everybody seen them? I'll bring one in.
I think you.
I went out
I did
after
last time, yeah.
you talked and I saw them on the polls.
Yeah, so it's a small, white, inconspicuous box. So these are the truest we're gonna get on vehicle speeds.
But could the speed today on Tedford be impacted because of the work that's being done on Tedford right now?
Same thing.
I would say no, because the work that's being done is at the end of the road. There's only 3 houses that are affected by the work that they're doing. So we actually have this just before the trailer park on your left, because we know somebody that lives right there. And we don't wanna lose we have the boxes locked to the pole, but we also don't want it somewhere where we can't monitor them a little easier. So it's, it's about a half mile up on the road is where they were at the time, so. So no, I would say no to the construction, so. It shows vehicle speed coming in, it catches it coming out. There's another multi-page report that I didn't make 10 copies of, but it shows vehicle by speed, average speed limit. This is Cadance Road, shows the total numbers for the week. I'll hand this one around so you can look at it, but this one even shows vehicle counts by size of vehicle. Yeah, small vehicles, medium vehicles, and large vehicles. So, quite there's a lot of data here to look at. It prints out it would print out a very long report. Just, again, we're not gonna print every page every time, but it does give us a lot of, stats. This one is just 85th percentile. Shows that it's at 49, if is that Cadence? Yeah.
And small.
You're hoping it's not Tedford.
Yeah.
65 on Tedford.
Looks like somebody was doing 70, is that?
It was 170.
Yeah,
Looks like there was one for 66, 7, 8, 9.
So,
yeah, so it gives a lot of information, it's a lot of good information right now.
Scary.
We're putting one out on Middlesex. Further out near H&B Moore Excavation, if you know where that is. And we're putting the other one, I think on Main Street. Last week they were on Main Street over by Napa, and there was another one on Forsyth Road. Out near the town manager's house. So if anybody knows where the town manager lives.
Everyone's really.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, so we had one out there. But we haven't, the officer. A little busy today with the rest, so we didn't get everything downloaded off we have to bring the units in. To recharge them and also download everything. It just takes time that we did not have today.
But can you talk to any early thoughts on how you might use this in police practice?
Yeah, one is the biggest piece is it gives us true speeds. I said this, Jim Blakamp actually interviewed me recently, but when I was in Brunswick, everybody said traffic on my road is people gonna get killed before you guys do anything about it, and that's what we heard on almost every road. I went to Lisbon for 4 years. When I was in Lisbon, people kept calling me, complaining, saying, people gonna get killed before you guys do anything. Speeding is the biggest issue, and since I've come to Topsham, my point being, people feel that their road, first of all, everybody thinks they know, and I'm not trying to be smart about this, but everybody thinks they know how to check vehicle speed. And they don't. And the people on Tedford were very upset a couple of years ago saying how fast everybody was going, and we kept trying to tell them. First of all, we're out there, we had the big traffic sign out there, which doesn't give good speeds, but. What do you want us to do? We can't, if we've got 2 officers, 3 officers working. My point being, this is giving us the truest speed that we can find. The other piece is if people are complaining about large vehicles, small vehicles, or if we need to do something to say Elm Street, what is our issue? Is it large vehicles? Is it small vehicles? So Public Works even needed something eventually saying, we need to get an idea about what we have for traffic out here. This gives us size of vehicles, tells us numbers of traffic in a week. Tells us if there's an actual speed issue, if something's breaking down faster than it should be. If we can get somewhere where it's at least a good 100 yards of vision without, like Winter Street, we talked about putting them on Winter Street, but because of the speed bumps there, it's hard right now. We gotta find a good spot. But it can give us a lot of good data on what is actually on a road without having to put an officer out there or somebody out there. So, yeah.
But don't do well, I don't know about winter and Mallet, there's significantly less traffic since the bridge is closed.
Oh, yeah, well, actually Mallet's one where we were gonna put it, that's the other spot where we put.
Yeah, I'd wait till the bridge reopens again at this
Yeah.
point, cause it's amazing the difference.
Yeah.
Traffic everywhere is so much.
Yeah.
Traffic everywhere has changed so much.
Yeah.
In this
Have
area.
you got a lot more on Elm Street?
I was gonna say, we've gotten complaints about Elm.
Well, I would
No.
also.
Yeah, with the bridge being closed.
No, we actually.
Interesting.
Our road construction slowed them down.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet, I
Well,
bet.
that's why we haven't even put these out on Elm.
Yeah, doesn't make
They've
sense.
paving, they've been
Yeah.
working on the sidewalk, there's been so much out there.
Yeah.
We'll wait a little bit before we put them up there, but basically, Dana, there's a lot of information on things that we don't even wanna know about that this thing will give us, so, you just gotta be careful, again, it's. You know, somebody will look, well, look at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I knew that they were going too fast. Yeah, we'll try to get there, but it also does show us when people are speeding,
Mhm.
what times, if it's a window between 4 and 6 when BIW gets out. All right, now we know that's where we can focus our time. Managing. But,
Everything feels faster when you're a pedestrian too.
Mhm.
Truck drives by, they make the speed limit, but when you're like close, or they don't slow down if you're like with a kid in stroller, then it's like, it feels a lot faster.
And when the sidewalk is right next to the traffic, it feels like they're going a lot faster than they probably
Or
are.
if you're, or if you're on a bike and people are trying to stay,
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of reasons that I'm sure these people.
Loud
they
trucks
sit there.
sound like they're going faster, it's.
There was a CMP truck that came down, flying down Mallet the other day. I said,
95.
"I can call your boss." That lady.
Must not have been monitored by GPS.
No, probably not.
Or they tinkered with it.
All right, well, that's great. Thank you,
Yeah.
chief.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep bugging about this and.
Yeah, we just, if there's roads we think we wanna look at. I just need to know.
It's nice that, the data, so. Seems like it was pretty easy to use as far as getting the data. When you guys have time, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be,
Yeah, no, we
you
just have to
prioritize the police work on it.
download it, it downloads in this long thing and then. Yeah, it's figuring out what we want out of it, what we don't really need.
Because what I'm thinking is, it's good to know, get a sense of how this works and how quickly we can grab data, so when we're working with the consultants. They're like, hey, we think we wanna do a
Around if you want, just so.
demo project here. Or we wanna do a demo project in one of these 3 locations, we pull the data for maybe the 2 weeks before, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this one instead.
And we'll be, we're starting a database by doing all these roads, it'll all be older, basically, so we'll be able to look back and. Because of the bridge construction, it'll give us maybe Elm Street or Elm Street construction. Not an issue now, but it will be 3 months or 6 months or so.
Very cool. Great, thank you. I'm gonna say we don't have any adjustments to our agenda. Are there any other announcements before you move on? I think that was it for me. All right, let's talk about our consultant selection process. I just want to talk a little bit about what happened and how we did it, and then hopefully we can take a vote regarding the selection of the consultants. So first of all, thanks to Chief and ATM Emerson for legwork and logistics for getting things set up. That was really helpful. We had ultimately we got 2 proposals from 2 different consultants. We interviewed them not last week, but the week before. Is that right?
Friday.
No, last week, but the week before. It was Tuesday, Friday.
Tuesday, Friday.
We had a list of.
30th and the 3rd or something like that.
Oh, you're stretching my memory.
Somewhere that week, yeah.
We had a list of questions that we asked both, asked both consultants or consultant teams. And then after our second interview on Friday, we had a preferred consultant. And then we followed up on some references and got back together and sort of confirmed our choice. So we have a first choice and a second choice. There were 2. So our first choice was Haley Ward. I sent an email out yesterday. A couple things that stood out about Haley Ward was their proposal. When we were comparing proposals, their proposal was better aligned to what we had proposed in our grant. Their timeline was also pretty dramatically shorter than the other consultants. So we had one, Haley Ward proposed about a 9-month window. And the other group, North Star, like almost 18
Almost a
months.
full.
It was out to the end of the grant period.
Yeah.
And they were also over budget. That didn't seem like it was North Star. Was also over budget. That didn't seem like a deal breaker necessarily, but seemed like maybe they hadn't focused as closely on some of the particulars of the grant proposal as Haley Ward. And so those are two things. And then I think one thing that stuck out to me personally was that the principal consultant for Haley Ward, Vanessa, really seemed to think about how we could position ourselves for things in the future. In terms of various DOT programs and stuff, and really seemed to be very conversant in the ins and outs of various programs. So that was something that stuck out to me. Matt or Mary Beth, do you want to add anything?
Only that Haley, Vanessa, what she was really kind of pointing us towards was grant money for the future. So when we're done with this project, she kind of provided us some direction, but assume that it will continue through the discussions. This is who you need to talk to. This is the program that will help you do some of the implement some of the things that we come up with. Oh, money. Big thing.
Chief or ATM, you want to add anything?
They're both competent, both could have done the job, and so it's basically comes down to who we're more comfortable with, so I don't disagree with Haley Ward.
Yeah, it's in.
I just read through this stuff really quickly for what it's worth. I mean, without knowing a lot of what was said here, like I just sort of gravitated more towards Haley Ward, but that proposal felt a little bit more aligned, but so I was pleased when you said that.
That was my first impression too, when I initially looked at them. I liked the Haley Ward
Yeah,
one better. I don't know, for a variety of reasons, I think.
so intangible, but
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'll say is while I did not know anyone at Haley Ward or North Star, I do know folks at TY Lynn, who is one of the subs for the North Star or part of the North Star team. So I'm glad that Mary Beth and Brian were able to come to terms with the same decision, because I've actually kind of refused myself from the process because of that. So I won't, if we're doing a vote tonight, like I won't vote on it, but it's calling.
Try North Star.
Actually, I think it's actually somebody in all seriousness. But, yeah, so but I don't disagree, I think they were both competent. I don't disagree overall with, the direction, but I'll stay out of the vote for that reason.
Does anybody have any questions about the process or particulars about the proposals or anything like that?
I've already asked for a slot on the next select board meeting.
It's yours.
Those set it aside for us, I just need to get some paperwork in, say, basics, or did I see an email earlier, you asked?
I didn't know you'd asked them froze, so I told Brian the same thing.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, we've already got a slot.
Great.
We're on the same page.
If there are no additional questions, I'd like to take a vote so we can proceed and hopefully get on the next select board. Get on this next select board agenda on November 6th, is that right?
Yeah. First one from new select board.
I was gonna ask that. So they get elected on the 4th and then come and sit on the 6th?
Yeah, we go by square.
Wow.
Welcome to
They get sworn in on the sense. Or that, how that, or,
Or they could come in before it gets sworn in, but
Oh,
they'd have to be sworn in before they start acting, honestly.
Oh, interesting.
they get sworn in before they're sworn in.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I was
exactly.
just to
Yeah. Hopefully they won't be sworn
say.
in.
Hopefully not.
We, in terms of an advisory committee, at this point, we don't have any select board folks. I think maybe they were waiting for the election. I don't know exactly, but I'm just mentioning that because I just thought of it.
I think no one had volunteered at the old one,
Mhm.
so when you come on the 6th, put that in as an ask to them, say, it'd be great if one of you can, if not every
It would- it
meeting, at
really
least
would.
December. So make your pitch when you come on the
Okay,
6th.
super. would someone like to make a motion regarding the consultant selection for the Complete Streets grant?
Can I
Yeah,
make a motion?
please.
I move that we accept the RFP proposal from Haley Ward.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? So Aaron was an affirmative and Matt recused. Great. All right. Super. I'm really excited, guys. I think we're gonna need to be on our toes a little bit, I think, if we finalize that on the 6th. I think they're gonna wanna get right to work, so I'm anticipating like our next meeting, what might be with them. Yeah, so I think it's pretty exciting. All right. So again, thanks everybody. I think it's a good segue. So Town Manager Waltz is here to talk to us a little bit just about big picture stuff. Some things that come up over the past couple of months and we thought, oh gee whiz, it'd be good to get the town manager and just sort of talk about stuff. And I think the timing really is good to hear from the town manager before the consultants arrive. So
I think on the back, very back of that file, there's only one copy, but there's a show and tell picture, because I thought if the chief's gonna hand out stuff, I should too. So what that picture of is our first sidewalk on Tedford Road. This is part of the culvert, and they've got the curbing in and they'll be finished paving in next week or so. It's
awesome.
And then, so what you're getting, unfortunately, probably not online, unless I hand it hold in front of my face or something, maybe. Is Mid-Coast Council of Governments has a transportation planning grant for the region. And they asked back in July for the different towns to come forward and say the things they were working on as far as transportation planning. And I had a real brief time. I think I was given like 5 minutes or something, but so this is what I brought to them. This is a highly technical GIS sketch. Actually, I took a Google map, put it on PowerPoint, and then drew with a highlighter, but it worked pretty good.
You could be president.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Could be.
So this was as of July. This was either existing, planned, or possible future things for connection for bike and pedestrian. And it looks like it's kind of slanted towards the eastern part of town. But so we need to start thinking more about the western part of town too. So what you have on this is the green is existing. So this is the path that will start at the top of this, is up at the intersection of what used to be Can-Am and Mountain Road. Now it's all called Can-Am, but it's up at the Highlands. It's that 6-foot path that goes beside the road that we have. And then it comes up to Village Drive, and then it comes all the way down to the intersection with 196. And then at that intersection with 196, you've got the path that is more than 6 feet wide, that eventually ends here at Town Hall across the way. So that's what we have for existing. Then what you have in purple was what we were working on this summer with upgrades in the sidewalks. So the piece I just referenced is and I should say the pink piece, the pinkish purple. It's the culvert over Tedford Road that goes over what used to be a body of water there. It's now drained now that we actually got the culvert big enough. But since we're working on putting a sidewalk on Tedford Road, we thought since we're paying all the money to put the culvert in, it makes sense to add it there at the same time. We were able to convince the owners of the 2 properties that are next to the culvert to give us 6 more feet so that we could add the sidewalk, because we didn't have enough room in the current thing. But the owner of the Highlands owns part of it, and the gentleman named Mr. Stover owns the other part, and both were willing to give us an easement so we could extend everything out 6 more feet. The actual sidewalk isn't on their property, it's still in the town, but because of the incline, we had to put riprap onto their property to make the road wider. We had to make everything wider. Then in the pinkish purple at the bottom right is the area we worked on this summer in front of the Forsyth Fields. And then the pinkish purple at the kind of bottom center is Elm Street. Then the blue is the area where we have existing sidewalk that kind of connects the pinkish purple sections and also goes out as far as Tedford Road. Then the 2 purples in the middle Actually, first I'll do the yellow. So the yellow is the railroad track there that, as you're probably all aware, the state of Maine has now said. Can be converted, there's no money for it yet, but can be converted to a rail trail. And the way the as you probably know, there was some contentiousness in Topsham about what uses would be on it. And we were kind of shooting or hoping to get a compromise so that, like, in the areas with this double tracks, if it connects existing ATV trails, maybe something could be done so that ATVs could be on part. And because I think no one thinks it's a good idea to have bikes, ATVs, horses, snowmobiles, everything in the same 6-foot area. But unfortunately, the way the final legislation went through, it just said bikes and pedestrian. So I think if, at least unless there's a legislative change, and it's probably gonna be bikes and pedestrian, so it's not gonna be, so that may solve the discussion for some of the, the disagreements we're having in Topsham. Or maybe at some point in the wider areas, maybe this will be consensus, go back to the legislature to try something different. But so right now, the way that it was passed to the legislature, it's bikes and pedestrians and with no money. And they're looking for towns to maybe do pieces of it at a time or try to get grant money for pieces at a time. What I'm thinking is if we were to start working on this, probably our first piece we'd want to work on is the aforementioned railroad trestle. I got Brunswick mad at me because we were at a meeting talking about the rail trail. And I said, from Topsham's perspective, it seems like it would make a lot of sense to take the railroad trestle off. Because then we could get this trail down to street level at Elm Street. We could widen Elm Street in that area to have good bike and pedestrian, so we don't have the pinch point that we have. And also now people can get down there, cross the street and cross the river on the Merrimack Bridge. On the existing trail. People at Brunswick got mad at me, said they've been working at this for 20 years. And that it's always the plan has been to go across the big black railroad bridge that goes between Brunswick and Topsham there. And I said, yeah, but there's probably,
Improvements to go across that?
or improve it in such a way so it would be, I mean, it'd have to be widened obviously or something.
Oh, yeah, we used to ride that all the time.
But
Okay.
I said, the federal money is probably not gonna be flowing like it did in the past. And that would add tens of millions to the project. If we've got a perfectly good crossing on the Merrimack Bridge, why would we try to make it cross both? And if we don't try to cross there, then there's really no reason to keep that railroad trestle in place. So we could get the trestle taken out and have everything connect out at Elm Street, which just makes it easier for people using Elm Street to get on it, whatever. There's people that are saying, yeah, that kind of makes sense, rather than trying to rehab this massive railroad bridge. I did talk to someone from the state about it and he got nervous real quick because the other battle that was going on isn't just bikes, horses, pedestrians, et cetera. The other battle going on was, well, we don't want to take it apart so much that it couldn't be put back to be rail in the future. So that's the concern with taking that down. So yet to be determined, he said, but I see your point, maybe, and so they're thinking about it, but that I think could be a future project. If we were gonna do a piece of this, that might be our first piece, would be from Tedford Road to Elm Street and while taking down that bridge. But that's all just ideas at this point. The next two pieces that are again ideas are the two purple ones. So the upper purple one is on Audubon Way. That street is owned by Highland Green. Highland Green wants to put a memory care facility out on there at some point, and they just renewed the plans for it again in May. They've told us that when that happens, they would build out that portion of the street and that their intent would be to build it to town specs so they could give it to the town. So kind of the vision there we'd like to connect, if and when that all happens, is we now get a public road of Village Drive connecting to Tedford Road. And then we could have good bike pedestrian access that comes from the schools and Highlands and gets us out to Tedford Road. Which is nice for the purpose of getting out to say Forsyth Fields or things or Rusty Store, or whatever. But then the other piece we're trying to find a way to land the plane is the other purple piece. So the vision has always been that this trail across from here could eventually connect to the Merrimack, bridge and get to the Androscoggin River Trail. We need a way to get there. The state is working on their plans to widen the bypass to 4 lanes. We tried to sell to them during that process that it'd be nice, well, as you're building the road, if you could add in a 6-foot bike lane or bike path, whatever, kind of like the existing one from Community Way, at least as far as the property that the town owns, which is where that star is located on the map. And the state said would love to, but unfortunately, due to wetlands, we don't have enough space left on our right of way in that area. Because if you're familiar with a football field at the fairgrounds, behind it is like kind of swampy area. That was set aside as to offset other wetlands that were disturbed by the highway. So the state doesn't think they could do what they need to do to get us the bike path on, say, the highway side of what's there. So what else has been happening is where that star is a 20-acre piece of land that sits between the Topsham Fairgrounds and the bypass. The town owns that land. It was given to the town, I guess it was left over from the bypass. That's been evaluated as a potential site for the community center. The only problem with that being a potential site for the community center is it's landlocked. So we need to get a right of way to it. We've been talking to the fairgrounds about trying to get the right of way, and there's some on the fairgrounds are at least interested in further discussing, the fairgrounds board of directors, working with us for right of way that would be between the football field and that wetland area. And the architect has looked at it, he thinks it's wide enough to get 50 feet in there, which would give us enough for the access road to the community center, as well as a multimodal path site. And the nice attractive thing about the site that for the community center is not only would be a good site for the community center, it has frontage on the rail trail. So if we can put all these pieces together, we would be able to now get from the green stuff over to our property with a right of way from the fairgrounds that's part of the community center driveway. And then once we get to the town's property, if the community center goes ahead, or maybe even if the community center doesn't go ahead, we just have a parking lot there or something. There would be a way to park your car in Topsham or something and use the bike path. A lot of pieces have to fall in place. Go ahead.
I just have a question. I keep thinking about, my parents live in Highland Green
Mhm.
and I'm close to the fairgrounds. And there's very glaringly no way to cross the intersection that supposedly links the 2 green parts here.
Yep.
Is there, with the widening, are they planning to put in like some sort of crosswalk or?
They have promised, I get 2 thoughts to that.
Okay.
First is, as part of this widening, they have promised to look at that. We've identified that as something that would like to be improved, and they're gonna see what they can do with
Okay.
making something better at the signal that exists.
Well, there's no, yeah, that you can't cross there, like there's no crosswalks.
Right, so they're looking at that,
Okay,
and I think at a minimum, you'll see that as part of the widening project.
okay, cool.
Our other ideas are, we have $400,000 that's sitting in an account that, as part of getting approval for one of their TIFs, Highland Green had to pay the town, that's supposed to help find a way across that road. $400,000 isn't gonna build
Right.
something over the road. But it's sitting there to go towards whatever, when we figure out a good plan. I don't wanna offer it to the state for their plan, because the state's paying for the widening themselves. But we've got that pot sitting there. The place I would love to cross, not saying that wouldn't be good to have a better cross there, but especially if the community center is gonna go where the star is, instead of going over it, let's go under it. So we use the rail trail at the tunnel. So basically, all we gotta do is convert the track to a nice path, and you could get from our Tedford Road sidewalks. Or if we take away the trestle, you can get from Elm Street up the yellow here, and you'd have great connection to the community center. So a lot of pieces here, a lot of different entities, a lot of things have to fall in place, and that's why I'm hesitant to call this a plan.
Yeah, no.
I'd say it's probably Mark Waltz's vision when he woke up at 2 one morning. They're doing it. So kind of, as we work on different projects, I think, I wonder if I can get another piece to my, my monopoly puzzle here or something. And so these are and there's other ways to maybe come up with some of this, but those are some things we're thinking about right now and trying
Yeah,
to find
just
ways to
curious
put
about that
together.
one thing, it's like one thing that I'm personally more maybe sensitive to.
Yep.
Or just aware of than some.
Yep.
Did you talk about the orange? Did I miss that?
So the orange is Tedford Road. So that's something that is definitely on the plant town's plan. And it has, I don't know if you were on the, may not have been the committee at that point, but we brought the proposed sidewalk plans, that the preliminary ones that Wright Pierce did at this meeting that the chief's talking about, I think a year ago in the summer. Laid them out for Dave comment from everyone, and the neighborhood universally said, we want the sidewalk on the western side of the street. We also did a survey of the road as part of the process. The road's only a 2-rod road, so we don't have a lot of right of way there. So we can't unfortunately do something like you see up on Mountain Road, or what used to be Mountain Road, what's now Can-Am. But there is room with some significant work on the street to get us a real sidewalk down the entire street. So I am probably this week, if it's ever before next Wednesday, I'm gonna be writing the RFP for the next step, which is the engineering design. So we've got the conceptual design, but now we need, unfortunately, Dennis was hoping that we could do the sidewalk as simple as just adding the sidewalk to the side of the street. But once they did the conceptual design, they're like, no, we gotta do drainage and redo it. So almost in the roads, in some places, one place is not even really in the right of way. So as part of this work, in essence, the road's gonna get rebuilt. It's gonna need new storm drains. So what went from a $200,000 project, from what Wright Pierce was thinking a year ago, was about a $1.5 million project. But we've already got some money set aside for it, part of it. So we're gonna write the RFP, get the engineer on board to do the final design, then we'll put it out to bid. And hopefully we can do better than that.
And how wide a sidewalk are you talking about?
It's either 5 or 6. I think 5 is the minimum for Dennis to get a sidewalk machine on. So that's kind of, he won't go below 5 because he wants to be able to plow over the sidewalk machine. So it's probably 5.
Yeah.
So that orange is combined pedestrian and bicycle?
It's gonna be kind of what you see on that picture I handed out of Tedford Road. So it's one street. Back in when Mark and I both started in Brunswick with our police careers, and Brunswick actually says in the town ordinances that it's okay for people to ride their bikes on the sidewalk.
In the town of Brunswick?
Yeah, on Main Street and stuff. And I think the theory is because you don't want to be riding behind the cars as they're
Yeah,
backing up and stuff. No one, and Chief, correct me if you're wrong, I don't think any of your officers are gonna stop someone from riding their bikes on the sidewalk. If we build a sidewalk in Tedford Road, if they feel more comfortable using it, I don't think they're gonna object. So we don't have, there isn't room in the street for a separate bike lane and sidewalk. We could certainly put share roads or something in the street if you'd like. But if someone feels more comfortable riding on a sidewalk, we're not gonna stop them, but.
Correct.
Unless they're on an e-bike going like 30.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I was in North Conway a couple weeks ago on their new rec path, and I was walking on it. But they've got a sign at the entrance that says what you can do and what you can't. And it says right on this, and there's no horses and no snowmobiles, but it was no class 2 or class 3 e-bikes. And
Yeah.
So I took a picture of it, so it's good to know what some of the rules might want to be.
Yeah.
Tedford Road would be a good place for that.
The shared lane thing.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, because it's a lower
For
speed.
advisory lanes.
Bike.
Yeah.
It's a lower speed road and stuff, and it's, unfortunately, if we could building it fresh and we had houses right next to it, it would be nice to make it wider, but we're kind of stuck with what geography has given us. So I think you're right, it's a great road for share roads because it's lower speed, it's the 25.
But advisory roads where there's dotted lines. There's one center.
The green road. You're in Topsham?
Oh,
Which road is that?
Is there one here in Topsom?
There's one,
Yeah.
sort of.
So
But no.
anyways, it's pretty much one lane where the cars. There's no yellow line in the center. There's just 2 dotted lines on the sides and for bikes and
Oh, it's
pedestrians.
interesting.
And the cars have to yield to bikes and walkers. But they just kind of if there's nobody there, they use the whole road to pass each other, but if
Yeah.
not, they slow down and take turns. And it works really well.
Well, I won't endorse that yet, but I'd certainly worth having your engineers consult, give
Yeah.
weigh in on it. Some of your
Advisory.
consultants.
Is that what it's called?
Advisory lanes or
Lanes?
there's another word for it. So
I thought you meant like Federal Street in Brunswick with the share rows. That's what,
Oh, no.
that I'm ready to endorse. I'm not.
Yeah.
Big fan of Sharrows though, feel free to use those.
What's the width of the travel lanes on Tedford, or how much
It's
road is
probably
that?
12 each. It's either 11 or 12 each direction.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
fire
still
fire
that, there's
chief
still that
likes
much
to,
space.
yeah, fire chief likes to make sure he's got that for the fire truck.
Like a two route, so two routes, about 33,
32.
32.
But we don't necessarily
Right,
have usable pavable space of 30.
Mm.
So it's like, that's our right of way.
right, yeah.
In some places, people like, even as it is, water districts gonna have to move some fire hydrants.
Yeah.
It turns out they've got in the actual right of way as opposed to.
Yeah.
Off to the side, and there's some mailboxes and things, but it looked like it was generally doable, and the people that might have things shifted towards the house a little. On the west side were okay with it, because they really want the sidewalk.
And it'll just be a side, yeah, just the sidewalk just on the west side.
Yep.
So is that water not refilling there? That's just drains now?
That's the intent, yeah. The only reason it was filled before is because the culvert wasn't functioning,
Oh,
right?
I didn't know, I walked there with a friend and they're always like, makes stuff in the water and just like, it's pretty awesome, but it's too, yeah.
In fact,
They found somewhere else.
the guy that donated the land on the Highland Green side, his whole reason was he wanted to get rid of mosquitoes.
Oh,
So
Oh.
if you're gonna be able to drain that thing, you can have land, so. But there were no fish they had to do a US Fish and Wildlife required to do a study, and there were no fish of significance and stuff, and. No salmon go in that
yeah,
direction.
right.
That was gonna be really expensive for us if they found salmon, so.
Yeah, sure, permitting had to go through everything if there was
Yeah,
gonna be any issues.
so even Army Corps of Engineers, US Fish and Wildlife.
Why is it that the state is paying for the widening of the bypass as opposed to like the town?
It's
Is it
actually a
because-
state road, the
Oh.
bypass, so. Like Route 24 on Elm Street is also a state road, it's a little different type, it's the interstate compact zone, so we like do the maintenance on it. Things, but we don't do the maintenance on 196, that's just a pure state road.
Oh, so like plowing of that would be done by the state?
Yep.
Okay,
They told us at the meeting that their intent was always to come back when traffic got high enough,
yeah,
so it was their intent from day one.
come
to
back and
get back.
widen that, okay.
Does the state, this is actually a separate topic, does the state do the traffic signals too? Or does
That is a bone of contention, because the state installed them,
yeah,
but then they expect the town to run them.
And they abandoned them.
And now's what happened is, like, we've had mice in a lot of them, and they're chewing up all the wiring, so it's getting really expensive to us right now. But I think I maybe know where your question's going, and I have a different answer to that question. So the lights all the way from out 95, all the way out to Route 1
Yep.
are coordinated, or supposedly they were. Using, it was a radio wave system before. And the same server that runs those lights runs all the ones in Pleasant Street and Brunswick. And so the state decided a couple of years ago, they're gonna have a new project that's gonna coordinate all the lights. Basically out, this section we talked about, Main Street, Brunswick and Topsham, Pleasant Street, it's all gonna work beautiful. What happened now is they're having issues, their contractor's been installing the stuff this summer, and the coordination is stopped. So we've been complaining to the state because the time it all fell apart is the same time they went the bridge one way.
Yeah.
And so we've said, you gotta do something to try to get these lights coordinated again, because they're now going into what's called recall.
Yeah.
Which means, cause they're not even working with the cameras right now.
Yeah.
So they're just purely timed 30 minutes, 30 seconds, this, whatever it might be. And poor Dennis, you know him, he's been getting called at midnight, cause Mark's guys don't like the condition of the lights, so he has to come out. Then there's only so much he can do.
Yeah.
So we had the lead engineer for the project on Friday saying, you gotta do something for us, cause there's like debris sitting on some of our intersections, cause we're having crashes, because people are running lights because of this, some of the turn lights aren't even turning because the cameras aren't working. And they promised that they're stepping it up and gonna try to get a solution soon, but it was bad enough having the bridge closed, but the fact that 196 has now been kind of crippled by all these lights not working right, has made it worse. So-
Yeah, it's funny, like now I didn't notice it, so I probably didn't notice it before because it wasn't a problem, but just
Right.
recently, I'm like, geez, I'm going 30, 35. I leave one light, I get,
Yeah.
100 feet from the next one and it turns around, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, it's not like I'm speeding and trying,
Exactly.
like, I think I'm doing it right, doesn't make any
Trying to
sense.
get off Mallet Drive for once you can get out of Mallet Drive, because the light
Yeah.
never turned, so it was terrible. So.
For a second, I was like-
Complain about it.
So I was like, well, if this is a problem, maybe the state doesn't need to widen the road, they need to fix the lights and then all the cars will go through.
Yeah. No,
Maybe it's both.
it is both, it needs both, and the lights, they tell us, should be working.
Yeah.
They've now got the company that's made all the technology is supposed to be coming up with factory reps to try to figure out why it's not working right.
Sounds really good.
Yeah,
On the bad side, our public works director's been told by the Augusta Public Works Director, where they already installed this stuff, that they're having a lot of problems with the new equipment, even when the project's done. So
Oh, no.
we shall see.
Please get cans for the.
Nice,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Alright, well, thanks for the update.
Yeah, thank you for the update. Does anybody have any additional questions? I have one additional question. So we are, fingers crossed, gonna be having a kickoff with our consultants coming up in the next couple of months. How do you see yourself being involved with that project, if at all?
I would say, if you want, certainly happy to give them my dream. And then be interested to hear their inputs on things. So, stuff like you just talked about, that as you're getting ready to build Tedford Road, we can't do much about the width, but if they think Sharrow's dotted lines, whatever it might be, now's the time to weigh in on that, because before we paint the road, it's good to get the ideas, so. I mean, not that, when the consultant right here. So, but
Yeah,
they may also have insights into best way to do what's going on at Elm Street with the railroad overpass or something,
Yeah.
or so. My next crucial date is I'm going to the Topsham Fair Board November 3rd, and I gotta try to sell them on our right of way for the community center. And there's some people in the group that are like, hey, sounds great. There's others that I think they're as much scared of the community center as they are about the right of way, but this is maybe a chance for them to not have the community center go in. She'll see.
All right, well, thanks.
I guess my only question is, and this will all probably come up, as we work with consultant, but. Do you preliminarily see any of these, maybe being potential areas for demo projects? Like with the side, I don't know how that would necessarily work. I don't know that we put in a temporary sidewalk. We would
Oh,
do that.
demonstration project.
Yeah.
Not demolition.
Trestle for demolition.
Yeah. Yeah.
An area that I think, well, probably part of the reason why we asked you to work on this traffic calming tool kit in the first place was certainly Winter Street.
Yeah.
And the other's Mallet Drive. There's places that we get complaints from people, it's Winter Street and Mallet, probably Mallet Drive, I put number one. So that might be,
Do people just drive really fast?
it feels like they drive really fast.
I think they do. I think they do.
Yeah, and well, it's a long straight shot, there's nothing.
but I think shortcut. Based on complaints we get at town hall, the two places that would be most excited to get ideas to try are Winter Street and Mallet Drive.
Both of which are much calmer since the bridge is.
So you recommend that we leave the bridge one way to
Oh,
Brunswick?
God, please no.
Yeah, I think
The
that,
big pain.
I still think it's gonna be funny when the bridge opens with bike lanes and nowhere for the bikes to go on either side.
And you're gonna have sidewalks and bike lanes, looks like on both sides from the pictures I see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Slated to open? Yeah.
Soon.
Should be early December.
They just paved, which is wild.
Well, they have to finish paving pretty soon because the plant's shut down.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like they're starting to put the grade in, the finished grade in front of Prairie Realty.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at it yesterday, it's like, it looks like they're close.
So I don't know if we'll have the complete sidewalk and stuff on the Sea Dog side then. Because even once this is open, they still got another 18 months that they have to take down the old bridge and then build the park. There's gonna be a nice park there with like, right up the water and then,
Yeah.
so.
I saw that.
But that's my,
To cars.
my business was about
Like last month.
when you get off the bridge, where the bikes go.
We're gonna see.
Back into the traffic lane where they were before,
I'll tell you,
which is exactly how the
between
bike
the
lane will
bridge
work out
and,
now.
and Elm Street is like one of the best leg workouts in town.
Yeah, I bet. I never go that
I
way.
mean,
Keep
actually,
Keep going up Main Street, it's even better.
Right.
probably a nice place to take the bike, once you come off the bridge, would be go up Green Street. Cause we've got that area, we've got the painted sidewalk, and so you can ride your bike on the painted sidewalk there, but, that's less traffic.
It's going up, is that Summer Street? That's a nice. Right.
Left there,
Yep.
go up by the dam. Yep.
Pretty.
This is kind of beyond the scope, but of what we're talking about, but do we know, is anything going on with that, old chimney, whatever the
stove. place.
stove place?
Coffee shop.
Or,
Take a
yeah,
coffee.
It was purchased by Morning Moose.
was that the place that had the food truck there? For a
Exactly.
little while?
Fun.
I know,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
That's great.
So they've been in a couple of times to talk about some conceptual ideas they may have, but yeah, looks like they want to have like some baked goods too, or coffee, so.
That's something to draw people across the bridge possibly.
Yeah.
Will there be more lights on the new bridge?
Yes,
Dramatically.
And, but.
they'll actually work too.
Any light?
There weren't any lights, were there?
I mean,
They were.
there's been one on the Topsham side for a while, and it's dimming with time.
Much like the bridge.
Much like the
But you'll have lots of lights in it.
And also, I hope you don't like potholes, cause for, I'd say at least hopefully 20 years, they won't be on the new bridge. You won't be able to see
The
through,
potholes on the.
you won't be able to go walk out on the bridge and go fishing through the bridge.
You know, that used to be a steel grate, right? Dana could probably talk about it, right? So my wife used to hate doing her Girl Scout marches on Memorial Day, cause she'd see the river going underneath you as you're walking on the grade of the bridge.
We first moved here, we called it the Green Bridge, and then very quickly it became the Green and Brown Bridge.
All right, we're only a few minutes over here. I wanted to talk about next meetings and I wanted to bring up a topic that I hope won't be too contentious or time consuming. So looking ahead, our next scheduled meeting is November 10th. Is that Veterans
I
Day?
think the
I think the
11th.
11th, Veterans Day.
So the town facilities are open on the 10th? Okay. So November 10th is our next scheduled meeting. The thing I wanted to also mention is as we get into consultant work time, we've talked in the past and have in the past extended our meetings. So I wanted just to ask about extending meetings to 90 minutes and what the people's preference, if we were to do that, is it begin earlier? Is it run later? What would be people's preference about an extended meeting? So we're currently 5:30 to 6:30.
I'm glad with the extension, and either way suits me, I mean, whatever fits the schedule of people at work. Or people that are gainfully employed.
You still work, you just get paid.
People with families, I think that's not.
I think my preference would be to start at 5 and end at 6:30.
I can't
You
do
can't do
5.
that.
Mm-mm.
Parents is start early.
I just,
Aaron's to start earlier, yeah. Okay, it's us. It's the kitty contingent over here.
yeah, I mean, I suppose in like. I can ask for like changes to my schedule for like 3 months out. Potentially could not work as late, like to be done at 4 so that I could get home in time, but. Other than that, I like can't really make anything earlier than 5:30 work.
Okay.
I'm just in the office until 4:30 or 5.
Ryan and Aaron, could you make it to stay till 7?
I could, yeah.
Or is there something in between? Could you make it for
5:15 to 6:40.
5:15? And to 6:45?
Could give it a whirl.
Parents says she could do later too, it's just a preference.
And I think I guess to clarify, my thought on this is. It may not be every meeting. It may just be like, so the next meeting, if we are gonna have the consultant here. We may want 90 minutes, then maybe, you know, meeting or two after that. Like, yeah, we could do 60.
Yeah.
And then we have some big deliverable that we need to review and discuss together, and that's 90 again.
Mhm.
So I don't know that we have to make them all 90, but
Yeah,
just, yeah, being open to making them longer as needed.
Are we allowed to work outside of the scheduled meeting on the consultant work? Like,
Just, if you have a group that's less than a quorum, you can do whatever. You can meet at your house, we don't have to give notice, whatever. If you have a quorum of the group, you just have to give a notice of it. So nothing says you can't have a extra.
work session.
Yeah, work session. We just, if you're gonna have a quorum, we just have to put it on the town website, but it's not a prohibition on doing it. It's just we have to do it notice.
so, yeah, we should,
This is gonna be something we're gonna have to figure out with the
Sometimes-
consultants, I guess, you know, in terms of what they think about how much
Yeah.
time we're gonna need and stuff like that. I guess I just wanted to take the temperature of the group.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah, but I guess on that note too, that also. Maybe after the election and we figured out who the rest of the advisory committee is. Um. We can also determine like. You know. When that group meets. And if that's gonna be. That's not gonna be an ad hoc committee, so do we need to? Oh, how do we have to figure, do we have to publish that?
So
The-
that's the subcommittee
Yeah.
of your group, basically, is that the advisory group?
Well, and it's
so
gonna
the
be
advisory group is this group, is basically this group and maybe a couple select board members.
Right, yeah.
Up to two, I think it is, I don't recall.
You can't have three, because that becomes a meeting for them.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, just knowing their other time commitments, you're probably not gonna get a select board, which isn't quite getting one so far. You're probably not gonna get someone to volunteer to come to every meeting.
Yeah.
So you probably wanna pick, hey, it's really important to get someone at this one or that, you know, and then you can have them come to specific nights as opposed to ongoing obligations.
Key meetings or whatever.
Why don't you just, we plan for 5 for next month and I will see what I can do. I feel like that makes the most sense, since it works better for most people.
Well, why don't we keep it, you can just keep it 5:30 to 6:30. We'll check in with the consultant and if we need to adjust, then we can. So,
That works.
I think we should set the expectation for 90 minutes for the next meeting, though,
I think that makes sense.
or if they're gonna come and meet with us. I think
First meeting with them, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I just want to confirm that they are in fact gonna be at that meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that makes total sense, and they might say, oh, we need 2 hours, I don't know.
Let's see, that's a Monday, select board should be on the Thursday where should hopefully get. Final approval.
I mean, at this
So it
point,
would be
you
this-
could pretty much assume you're gonna get approval, so if you wanted to reach out to try to schedule something,
Okay.
you can do so.
Okay.
I can't see, I mean, it's within your budget, right?
Right.
And it's, and you guys have recommended it, they're not gonna ask to re-interview themselves, so they're gonna go along with your recommendation.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, super duper. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Sorry, is that too? Yeah.
Matt
like
made a
that.
motion to adjourn. Sarah seconded. All in favor of adjourning for the evening? Good, everybody.